Hello guys, it's been a week since Laravel Nightwatch was released, and it's time for me to shoot a review video from what we found out as Laravel Daily team on our projects after using Nightwatch for a week. So I will show you a real dashboard of our projects, including the activity for requests, exceptions, and database queries. So you'll see the numbers from our website, which receives around 5,000 visitors a day. But also we will talk about impressions from other people, and I will quote a lot of tweets and Reddit posts of what people say on social media. Also, we'll discuss important thing, pricing and the amount of events included and what that even is and how to calculate it and how to somewhat control the events, because that is one of the most important things discussed on social media about Nightwatch. And I will also show how much we're paying for Laravel Daily and how much I would predict we would pay for the next months. Let me start with the first impression about Nightwatch, and it can be described in 3 words. It just works. So here's the dashboard of our Laravel Daily project, and I will discuss that later in this video in more details. And to get that, all you need to do, if we take a look at the official start guide in the documentation, you register an account, basically register on their website, choose free plan to test it out, and then you get your environment token, which you should place inside of .env file. Then you do compose or require of the package, and then you just run the agent, and that agent should stay in the background. You can do that manually, or for example, Laravel Forge has Laravel Nightwatch as a toggle. Same as recently I saw a tweet by Ploy, so one-click enabling of Nightwatch on Ploy is also available. There's one important setting about sample size, which will be related to the amount of events you actually use in Nightwatch, but we'll talk about quota and pricing later in this video. Basically, my point here is that it's very easy to start. It's free for a certain amount of events. It works since Laravel 10 and PHP 8.2 from what I remember. So just try it out on your projects. Next, I will show you Nightwatch in action, what we've seen over a week or so of using that. So here's the dashboard, and first thing I want to emphasize that it's blazingly fast. So if I filter 1 hour, 24 hours, or 7 days, it's not only attractive visually, but despite the amount of data it saves for many users, and this is, by the way, kind of a stress test for Laravel Cloud itself, which powers Laravel Nightwatch. So yeah, pretty impressive performance with the amount of data. So we see the requests and which of them are 200s or some errors like 400 or 500. And you can see the duration globally, average, and P95. And I will talk about P95 separately a bit later. But this is just a global overview. It's not really actionable enough. So let's dive deeper. What Nightwatch actually monitors? You can see activity here. And first is requests. And here we have 78 routes. And this is the thing, it doesn't monitor the URLs. Everything is about Laravel. So Laravel terms like routes, like jobs, like controllers. So Laravel developers specifically should feel like at home with Nightwatch. And here, of course, you can order by total, for example, which pages are most viewed. And here's, for example, the URL here is just the route with the parameter. And from here, for example, from this route, you can see how many exceptions or how many 400s, for example, happened with that route. And those numbers are pretty high, but to be honest, a lot of them are bots, and we are working on a few issues it actually found for us. But yeah, you can filter the routes and also order by, for example, average duration, and we flagged internally which routes are worth optimizing. So this is probably one actionable thing. But then also what I've noticed from here is if we order by total, /feed is pretty high. So I thought that RSS feeds are kind of dead. No one really reads something like Feedly. It was Google Reader back in the day in the old times. But actually, probably by crawlers and bots mostly, it is still used highly. So this was my kind of practical takeaway that we need to keep the feed alive. And that's the thing with Nightwatch. Every company or every developer would see their own individual takeaways, action points, and something to improve or to fix. So to me personally, the first thing was the feed. Now let me briefly explain the P95 thing. Let me zoom in. So this is the ordering for routes for last 24 hours. And the best explanation is by Zoran here on Twitter, who is quoting Jess Archer from her interview. So 95% of requests are faster than that number. So this is probably more accurate representation than just average, because average may contain outliers which would be inconsistent, but P95 is probably more accurate representation of reality without outliers. At least this is how I understand it, but we can discuss in the comments below if you have different interpretation. Next, on Nightwatch, you can see a lot of things in activity. In addition to requests, you see jobs, commands, schedule tasks, exceptions, and queries. And I will show you a few of them, which are probably the most actionable. So let's start with exceptions. So this is the exception dashboard for Laravel Daily for last 7 days, and most of them are not really worth fixing or fixed already, but let's take a look what's inside. So we have an exception, for example, and this is the information that we get about that exception. So Nightwatch kind of replaces bug tracking software like Sentry or Bugsnag, and in a minute I will show you the comparison visually from Bugsnag that we also use on the same project. So Nightwatch gives the information about where the error happened, some more details about the environment, and this is Laravel 10 and 8.2, don't judge. We haven't upgraded Laravel Daily because of some package dependencies. We'll probably do that in the near future. Now back to Nightwatch. In addition to exception on the dashboard, you get an email something like this, error exception with some details, and then you click to find out more. And those exceptions are turned into issues here. And here you can use Nightwatch as kind of issue management software. Again, similar to Sentry, so you can go to some specific issue and then you have status assigned to someone. So for example, this one, I know that it's actually fixed, and you can mark it as resolved with comment or without resolve issue, and then in the list you can filter the resolved ones or open. So yeah, list of issues, and here you have a choice. What do you actually use for your issue management? Is it GitHub issues or some project management software? And Nightwatch may be another choice. And here's an alternative issue management software that we've been using for years, which is Bugsnag, now renamed to Insight Hub. And also there are Sentry and there's Flare by Spotty. There's also Rollbar. They're all pretty similar. They've been on the market for quite a while. So they also show a lot of code, maybe in a more friendly way with request, with user data. And here you can also mark as fixed or assigned to someone. So basically use it as issue tracker with project management elements. So Nightwatch, I think, is getting into that market with some fundamental things like exceptions and issues. But to be honest, in our team, we never really used Bugsnag or Sentry or Flare. We tried it in the past as project management or issue management software. We use it for notifications about something happening, which Nightwatch does already pretty well. Then we fix the issue on GitHub, and then the issues in Nightwatch in this case just pile up. We kind of ignore them. So it's more like for notifications for those emails. So one of the most typical usage of Nightwatch, in addition to request performance tracking, is issues and exceptions. Also, one of the most typical use cases is activity queries. So database queries are also logged here, and you can again filter by P95 or order by P95 or by something else and identify the slowest SQL queries, or for example order by calls and identify the most common ones and maybe find n+1 query problem somewhere. So you can look at queries globally like this, or you can dive into individual requests, for example, and this is where Nightwatch shines. It shows the timeline, for example, like this, showing the queries, when they happen, their duration, and for example, controller queries, and then other queries. In this case, it's a potentially improvable route, but look at the amount of details. It's kind of like Laravel debug bar running in the background with even more information specifically for Laravel. So just this view impressed me quite a lot, but with that there's important caveat, the amount of events saved. Database queries alone may take most of your usage of events. So this is where we get to the topic of pricing and how it is calculated. If we take a look at the official homepage, you can start for free, as I mentioned, with 200,000 events included, and event is the main metric. In addition to more features for each plan, you get 200k events for free. And that may seem like a lot, but the main topic of the first day launch of Laravel Nightwatch was how fast people ran out of that limit. So this is a tweet by Serge that he reached the free quota in a few hours. Also, Bradley is repeating he's halfway through in less than half a day. And Andreas here reached even 5 million events on the Pro plan in less than 24 hours because here's the kicker. Queries. So those database queries that I've shown you is actually what takes usually for most projects most of the events. And for us on Laravel Daily, we installed it on two websites, filamentexamples.com and laraveldaily.com, which is much more active. And this was the stat kind of in the middle of first day. So 73% used of free plan. So currently we've switched to the Pro plan, and here's how it looks now. Pro plan, 20% of 5 million events, which is pretty predictable. So for Laravel Daily website, which gets around 5,000 visitors a day, we will be probably okay on $20 per month plan without too much tweaking. But there is one important setting that you need to tweak during the installation. If we go to the documentation, Nightwatch agent sampling, this is the recommended rate, Nightwatch request sample rate, which means it will reduce the volume of the data collected, but it will still get you the overview even from those 10% of events. You will see the bottlenecks if they are obvious. So by tweaking one parameter in .env file, which is actually recommended, and you will see that recommended during your installation in the terminal, you may massively decrease your price or even stay on free plan. And also the Laravel team is trying to improve the possibility to be more granular with what should be sampled or what should be logged. So now Taylor tweeted a few days ago that you can have a middleware sample for specific routes or specific route groups. So just from this setting, you may probably massively decrease your usage of events. Now finally, let's hear from real people. What do they say on social media after trying Nightwatch? And Chris Seff is tweeting that he found an ugly N+1, and there's a video about it. Now, disclaimer, Chris Seff works at Laravel, but there are many more people reporting pretty similar experience. For example, Jason McCreary tweets about 100x improvement for one of the requests, if I understand correctly. Here's another random tweet. So Linus is saying, I'm wondering how I ever lived without it, without Nightwatch. Also Zep, core member of Filament team, already identified a couple slow queries in the key parts of application. Then Gaurav, also active Laravel community member, set up Nightwatch and immediately N+1 found. Also, Tom is reporting something similar, non-eager loaded query found on the first day of using Nightwatch. So overall, overwhelmingly positive experience on Twitter and social media by people who found something or discovered or realized about some application points from the first minutes or hours of using Nightwatch. Just from that point of view, to identify the bottlenecks, it's a no-brainer to just at least try. Also, there was a Reddit post 5 days ago, first experience with Nightwatch, and the author is comparing Nightwatch to other tools. And this is another topic, so Nightwatch is good for Laravel developers to quickly identify the bottlenecks. But if we compare that to more serious tools for logging and issue management that have been on the market for years, it's pretty early days for Nightwatch. So the author is comparing it to Papertrail or SolarWinds for logging. And then, of course, the question is pricing. This is probably the number one kind of negative thing about Nightwatch that I've seen on social media. People are questioning whether that price would be worth with the amount of events they would want to track, or Nightwatch would track automatically, because you are not fully in control of how many events would actually happen. But as I mentioned a few times, there are things that you can change with sampling, now with routes, so the price is not 100% predictable, but to compare, more understandable than Laravel Cloud. Because Laravel Cloud got quite a lot of negative feedback just because of unpredictable pricing, just because of how serverless works in the first place compared to VPS servers. With Nightwatch, it's pretty clear what you will pay. So yeah, all in all, my conclusion is that Nightwatch has a very promising and strong start with a lot of users already, with a lot of positive reactions from Laravel kind of core community. And since it will get only better, again, as a few times I mentioned in this video, I advise you to at least try. And we can of course discuss in the comments if you have already tried, what are your impressions, maybe I missed some important details. Let's discuss in the comments below. That's it for this time, and see you guys in other videos.